Hey guys, welcome back to yet another video. So today we have Mr. Mahesh. Uh, to talk about Mahesh more than his professional, he's more into a cloud enthu guy. So coming from a non-cloud profile, he did versatile certifications in multi-cloud domains, and today he's over here to share his experience on his learning journey and to share the tips how he started the clouding journey and what motivated him to do it and how he broke that myths of coming from a non-cloud background to the cloud learning and adapting to the cloud. So welcome, Mr. Mahesh. Would you like to introduce about yourself, sir, before we
Yeah,
jump into the questions? Yeah.
yes. Thanks, Vasan, for giving me the opportunity in talking in your YouTube channel in this platform. It gives me immense pleasure and very much eager to explain about the cloud. If I start explaining about myself, I am a person with having almost 17 to 18 plus years of experience into IT industry. So my profile talks more into data warehousing profile. So predominantly in data warehousing technologies. And in respect to cloud, if you talk about, I started the cloud journey from 2018 till today. I'm progressing in pursuing various cloud technologies and continuously learning all the new trends and new futures in clouds. So this is a brief introduction about myself.
Nice, sir. So, could you please talk about the certifications you have done so far in your journey when it comes to cloud?
So certification wise, I have completed AWS Associate Architect level certification. So that is one thing, and the other certification is regarding to the Alibaba Cloud Associate. I have completed that cloud. And in Azure also, I did a lot of participant certifications and related to data factory and which were more related to that data area and attending various cloud webinars actually. So these are predominantly participant certifications, various webinars I have attended, but cloud certifications, I have a couple of certificates, as I mentioned previously, one from AWS and one from Alibaba Cloud.
Cool, cool. As you mentioned, like you have like 70 to 20 years of experience, so you would have be a real witness, like how the people using from the old data centers to the modern cloud. So, what differentiate you would have seen on yourself, like how the company is handling it, and like what advantage you feel or what struggle you would have faced in the past, and how people are handling in today's world.
So traditionally, as you see, I am from an infra background. So most of the on-prem data centers we have been working on traditionally for the last so many years. And once the cloud journey started, there are a lot of disadvantages you can say in the terms of scalability and cost and reliability and other things, other aspects. Mainly thing is like the cost wise, it is more optimized actually. One part and the thing is like the servers if they are not in use we can scale down it, and if they want to pay as you go model actually. So this is the traditional approach which is followed, which is the need of an hour actually. So which is primarily practiced in the current trend. So practically speaking, in the cloud environment, most of the data centers, apart from legacy systems, I think now all the clients and other things they started focusing more into migrating the data center from on-prem to the cloud. So from where they have utilized various advantages. Typically, we can say that Netflix site and all the movie sites, it is the commercial advantage. Apart from the technical aspects, for a layman, where we can say that like if we go into the commercial aspects in the day-to-day present world, you can see like Amazon and Netflix, lot of things, e-commerce sites and movie sites and other sites. They are more into cloud now, by which they can able to pull more customers and where they can easily optimize the cost. A lot of technically, lot of advantages actually. So that gives the motivation to for all the tech companies to move towards cloud actually.
Uh, so as you told, like you're coming from a data warehousing technology, so this would help you to save a lot of cost as pay as you go approach, right? Like today you might be storing some X amount of data. Tomorrow it might go legacy. So buying a hardware and paying for the same amount of data, this would have been a greater advantage for especially on the greater field of you people, right? So as you told, like uh, what urged you to learn the cloud, or because you would be a uh, initially it would be an on-premise guy, right, or a
Yes.
data center guy, and that's the same problem like faced by many of our audience as well. Like they would be from the non-cloud carrier or non-cloud skill set, but still they wanted to adapt to cloud and upskill themselves to cloud. So if you say in terms of cloud is for everyone, right? You can be from a data warehousing guy, you can be an infra guy, or you can be a networking guy or a developer. So cloud is for everyone, but the learning strategy, like someone should start at some point, right? So where you have started that and what made you to towards this journey of cloud?
So my initially, since I was working in the data warehousing field, once the cloud era, first the most important point is like after the invention of cloud, so it is going to take over the IT tech world in the coming. It's already taken over actually, and it will replace all the traditional on-premise things in over a span of time. It will traditionally replace it, I think. So this I got an initial idea about it. Being from data warehousing part, since I am from data warehousing part, I have seen that even in data warehousing, they are moving their products to cloud. For example, if I am in Informatica, they are moving into Informatica Intelligent Cloud Services. So they are moving that product to the cloud actually. And there are a lot of data warehouses built. You must be aware of Snowflake and the AWS Redshift data warehouses there.
Yeah.
And now in AWS, if you talk about AWS Glue, which is like a serverless part actually. So a serverless part is no need to, like within a span of time we can spin up servers, so it will reduce the overhead and the the things which will take lots and lots of times, hours and hours of times to build a data warehouse in a traditional on-prem approach will be typically replaced by the cloud concepts like AWS Cloud in AWS, like the OLTP part like AWS QuickSight, and if you talk about Azure, you come about Azure Data Factory, Data Lake, Microsoft Azure Power BI. If you talk about Alibaba, it is Quick BI. So after the cloud has came into existence, it has replaced all the traditional on-prem part, and it can able to integrate with seamlessly integrate. For if you, for example, on-prem, you have very limited limitation to connect to the legacy database or a SQL server or an Oracle or a Sybase or thing. But here we have a lot of connectors which can seamlessly to integrate all the sources, and where it can pull the data and write it to the target, from where we can able to do the analysis part using the BI tool, OLAP tool. So this made me very interested towards going into the cloud. Even in the current ongoing projects, they can't able to bear the cost part actually of, for example, building the server and then decommissioning it. All these things, it leads to overhead actually for them. But if you come into cloud, For example, if you are using it for a particular application and you spin up a EC2 instance and you use that cloud architecture and cloud BI and in the cloud to do the activity, and after that like it scale down that actually. So that is one of the best advantage. And in the cloud world actually it is like it is traditionally replacing the data centers actually, and all the datas are virtually loaded, and it gives the easy it can seamlessly integrate actually.
So my takeaway from this is that if you are a in the traditional data warehouse world, you would need a lot of teams effort, to set up the hardware, network connection, and other integrity.
Right.
Whereas in the cloud world, it's all done in a single click of a button, and rest everything taken care at the back end,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And that motivated you towards the cloud part. And thanks for the detailed explanation, Mr. Mahesh, like where you could talk you where you mentioned about the.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So thanks for the detailed explanation where you mentioned about multiple services provided by different cloud providers. So our takeaway is that the service or the purpose is same, but they're given the different in a different name or a thing, right? So what would you recommend for a fresher or someone from a non-cloud guy, where to start in terms of preparing any cloud?
Yeah, good question. So I will guide through about my experience, how I started, and how to start grooming yourself from for a fresher, how to start into cloud actually. So if you come into any cloud, you take AWS or Azure or Google or Alibaba, anything. The thing is like first try to look out. The initial point is uh, the initial sources, like go to the websites like one thing console. If you go to AWS, you will get a year of subscription, free subscription. That one thing. Traditionally, creating your AWS account in the AWS console, and if you talk about Azure, they will also give you for a month's period of time, I think. And Alibaba also they will give you. So and Google also they will give an time to practice. So that is one good starting point. And basically, first you have to compare before deciding about which cloud you want to go. Uh, you have to make a thorough analysis. Where either you want to go for AWS, or you want to go for Azure, or you want to go for Google actually. So if you worked in more Microsoft products, if you worked in more Windows area and most of the things, so I think Microsoft products you can use, you can go for Azure, and AWS. It is also comes with Windows and everything, but traditionally into Linux and all those things. So the point which I am going to explain is pick one cloud where where you can able to match your aspirations or interest. Actually. That is first point. Second point is continuously gathering the knowledge either in the web or in the YouTube, or register for Udemy or any other online courses. That is first part actually. And there are a lot of resources, materials available in AWS, in the Azure or Google or Alibaba Cloud websites itself. There are a lot of videos, video tutorials. That thing, first thing. Third thing is uh, right now you might be aware now lot of communities has been community programs has been going on throughout the globe actually. For example, if you belong to one particular geographical region, go to one particular thing called meetup. Meetup.com is where you go and register for user groups. You can come to know the AWS user groups. You can come to know about the Azure user groups or Google user groups or community things where they are promoting their cloud thing. Try to go there. And if you are from, for example, if you are from global users or users within Tamil Nadu or Pan India, wherever it is, try to register the go to meetup and then try to see in LinkedIn or Slack, or go to the corresponding user group of your particular geographical region, register there. So by that way, you will get intimated about lot of events and webinars where there will be you can see many tech experts coming and giving their knowledge sharing part. Apart from that, Google, AWS, and Azure, and Google and Alibaba, everybody they have the community day events actually. If you talk about AWS, they have the reinvent events, community day events, and any big programs. So register for it, and registering the user groups, registering the for the uh, user groups, and for the global reinvents and reinvents within your community things. By that way, that is the other part. And the other part is like you go if you go to LinkedIn, if you are for example, if you're a fresher, if you're selected one particular cloud where you want to explore more, try to build your contacts. For example, if you are in AWS, try to build AWS contacts there. There are a lot of community groups, even in within LinkedIn. There are a lot of resources, lot of people where you can network, and where you can post your questions actually in forums, like open forums. Go and register in Medium, Dev dot other mediums where they are writing the blogs, and by that way, you go through the blogs and go through the videos, go to the events, attending seminars, webinars, registering in the meetups. So all these things, as a fresher, you will get lot of brainstorming knowledge about these things. And in LinkedIn, you might find a lot of people who are delivering resource contents actually. For example, newsletters will be there in LinkedIn. People will be sending newsletters, subscribe for it. That is one thing. So these are small tricks, tips actually, and where you can able to explore your cloud knowledge. And slowly then if you come into these things like AWS cloud practitioner is the initial level of certification. If you talk about certification, that's one certification. And Azure fundamentals, and Google Cloud fundamentals, and Alibaba Cloud Associate fundamentals. So all these fundamental knowledge, try to gather it. Then go for the area of specialization. For example, I am being into a data part. I'm first I started all these things, the points whichever I mentioned previously. I did everything one by one, and later on I attended the cleared the certification, and networking of people from various communities, and specialized in one area. After clearing my basic knowledge, and having command over the basic cloud services, then I have to choose the area of specialization by which you can able to emphasize that you are very good at. So if you are a fresher, basically if you are from development background, go for a development thing. If you are from infra background, go for networking, VPC, or cloud migrations, those things. Or if you are good at ML, machine learning, those things, go for ML. Or if you are good at data like me, and go for DW. So there are a lot of classifications within cloud. So these were the different way of steps where you want to first go ahead and then try to build your cloud knowledge, and there onwards you will be having a good command over the cloud technologies.
Uh, Thanks, Mahesh sir. So you mentioned like your journey started from 2018, right? So it's a long
Right,
journey,
right,
but current people needs instant result, right? Like let's
right,
say I can't do for like 4 years for
right,
the journey. Like I need immediate instant result or so. So let's
right.
say, so what do you think? What is the minimum experience or minimum year a person to call himself as a cloud? Well-versed guy on your vision, what because it's a, as people say, like services like AWS, Alibaba, they or any cloud provider, they innovate every day, and every day is a learning. But is there any shortcut or any tips you would say, like, okay, do this specific way, and within X span of days you can achieve this. Any such milestone or guidance from your end?
So even with,
Also one
yeah,
more.
yeah,
Mhm. Also one more thing, like as I told, there are like several blogs, LinkedIn newsletter, and Udemy courses available. That can be overwhelming for a fresher, right? Like, I don't know what is cloud, but I'm stepping into it, then I'm bombarded with resources to study. So I'm just looking for like any structural way, like just do this, and within this span you can achieve something. Is there any tips like that from your end?
yeah. The thing is, first primary part is it depends on your interest actually. So the trade very good way is like first you have to visually see that part actually. What is cloud? So instead of reading through it like a lot of text and all things, traditionally earlier days we have books, am I right? Now it is like soft copy every day. Everything came in web now. So it may take some time for you to read through the things, but now visually a lot of things are explained. For example, if you go for a cloud academy course, it is like if you go for a specific topic, so they will explain about cloud, they will explain about how to spin up the EC2 machine and how to select the AMI and how to configure the security group and VPC and every part step by step they will explain. So first thing is like it if you have time, probably if you have full time available with you, then visually seeing the things is first part actually. First go through the cloud little bit, then see the things how they are explaining it visually, then parallelly try to have a console with a free account like AWS console account or whichever cloud, Azure or Google or Alibaba. Try to learn it by doing actually. For example, if one topic if you select, try to do a practical, hands-on practical actually. So by that way, you can able to do starting with basic services like how to what are the what are the commands and how to configure easy to machine, how to go into putty. So it's all visually explained. So visually you can easily, it's a lay person can easily explain, can understand. And there are apart from online content, means like the visual content is more important visually, and then learning by doing. So second thing is you have to do it by practicing it hands on actually. So it gives you more confidence, and day by day, probably time factor if you take, if you are allotting your full time for cloud, it may probably take 45 days. For example, every day 2 hours. For example, 1 hour theory, 1 hour practical, you are doing it for 2 hours, or 2 hours practical or 2 hours theory. For example, if you are taking it every day, 45 days, if you take, you can able to quickly grasp the basic cloud services. I think it is common to AWS, Azure, and Alibaba also, and Google also. I think that's a common factor. So it gives first visually observing and then learning by doing, and a consistent effort actually, not haphazardly. Do it in a consistent way. For example, if you start doing it today, for the next 45 days, make a goal, try to do it systematically and consistently so that you don't miss the flow is very important. See, you don't have to switch jump to other topics. So they will systematically guide you how to go from the basics, how to configure, how to spin up, and how to do that, how to stop the instance, and how to start the instance. For example, EC2 level I am just explaining. And so it takes for a fresher, I think if you do this daily couple of hours or 2 hours in practical, or 2 hours in uh, in in theory, if consistent effort is given, 45 days is more than enough, I think, for the basic cloud. I think with this 45 days of intense with a continuous consistent effort, you can able to understand the cloud concept, and little bit if you give more concentrated, you can clear the cloud certifications. I will say Probably 15 days to 25 days, less than 25 days. You can clear cloud practitioner. But 45 days is enough, I think, for you to learn the concepts, to master the concepts of AWS actually, for clearing the basic cloud certification. You can see for you can keep it either it is AWS or Google, Azure, or Alibaba, whatever it may be.
Cool. So, what's your thanks a lot for the explanation of part of the certification journey thing. So, what's your view on like multi-cloud? Like, as a fresher, do you recommend them to go with a single cloud and get expertise over there, or multi-cloud is a must? Or what's your
Yeah,
thought on that
I
part?
will sincerely advise for freshers not to dirty your hands in multiple things initially. First, if you're a fresher, try to concentrate in one cloud. So each and every cloud has its own advantages actually. So, but the market leader is AWS, and Azure is also there, and Google is also there, and Alibaba is also there. Try to pick one cloud where it suits. Try to do an R&D or an analysis which cloud you want to pick. Then stick to one cloud and make specialization in that cloud. Once you feel comfortable, confident, and you spent some considerable amount of time in one cloud, then based on your interest, see, for example, the concepts wise, the GUI might be different. For example, the GUI might be different in AWS, Azure, and other clouds, but the concept wise, it might be similar. For example, if you call VPC, Virtual Private Cloud, in Azure, they may name it in a different name, buzzwords actually. So you have to remember that buzzwords. If you understand fully the concepts of one cloud, it will be easy for you to uh, capture the knowledge of other cloud. My advice for fresher is concentrate in one cloud, make yourself comfortable and more confident. Then, based on your need, if it is primarily is needed, then you can go for other clouds.
Cool.
But
Like,
multi-cloud is also for experienced people. It is an important concept actually. So to know about each and every cloud has its own advantages. Actually.
Cool. So a crystal clear experience, cool, a crystal clear explanation for the freshers in terms of to start. And then the most commonly asked question would be like there are multiple cloud, right? Like AWS or Azure is there, GCP is there. And then initially you have mentioned like choose your own, do your own research and choose what cloud you want to begin with. So, do you have or could you share any steps for the freshers? These are the steps you need to do for the research. It's more like a spoon feeding, but do you advise anything like okay, do this, and if this condition matches your part, then choose this cloud.
So yeah, you mean to say how to do the analysis for choosing the cloud provider?
Yeah, yeah.
Globally,
Because
I
for a
can say
fresher, I might not be knowing anything, right? So,
yeah.
what steps you would recommend for a fresher to choose which one to begin with?
I say actually globally, worldwide, recognized and everywhere it is like AWS, Azure. These two clouds are leading the market actually. Compared to Google is also there. It says it so, but the share is like it is compared to that it low, and Alibaba is also compared to these two clouds, AWS and Azure. It comes in other place actually. But if you're fresher, for example, if you're BE graduate or whichever graduate maybe, but if you're from the computer background, for example, you did your undergraduate in computers, so you would have chosen whether the operating systems and all, like, am I right? You must have done some project C, C++, or whichever project you might have did it in some other OS. For example, if you did CCNA or anything, networking part or anything related to the thing, then legacy systems and all those things, then primarily other things. If you say basically, uh, uh, if everybody will be using the Windows system, correct? All the people will be more using the Windows. So learning wise, uh, AWS is more, but if you come into Azure also equally, it is good actually. So if you are more into aligned to Windows part, it has its own native features. Since if a person is if a undergraduate guy, if a fresher graduated guy is from, if he did more projects in Windows OS or whatever related to that, and most of the concepts, if it is related, then probably you can go for Azure. But if you want to learn which is leading more globally, means AWS actually. So second place is Azure, first place is in AWS. And if they want to, it is purely depends on their own interest, I think. So I will say this: these are the parts actually. If you see IntelliPat and all other like Udemy and all, they will give you the comparisons actually. So how much percentage share is leading, how much percentage. Or if your example, for a simple tip for a fresher is, if he wants to go for a company, for example Microsoft or Microsoft allied partner companies, then he can choose Azure. Probably that where he want to get a job in that company. But for people who want to get a job in AWS related partner related companies, like who are the AWS related partners, APN partners, they can go for choose the AWS, because in that company they will use AWS. So primarily nowadays in the modern trend, everybody will are aware of the what company they are going to aspire for, what company they are going to look for. So if they have some idea, then probably they can choose Microsoft allied partner companies or AWS allied partner companies.
Yeah.
So based, if they have a vision, it is easy to choose. But otherwise, if they don't have prior knowledge which company they want to do, better thing is go for AWS, because it is more. The reason is like it is ruling. It is in the market. It is more, and it is holding more shares, and the awareness is more. But if an individual, if a fresher is say that I have an aspiration to go to this particular company, means they might be aware from websites, they are aware what kind of clients they have, the clients, what are the tools they are using, what kind of cloud technologies they are using. Based on that, they can pick either Azure or AWS, or if they use Google, they can go for Google, or if they use Alibaba, they can go for Alibaba.
So yeah, so a crystal clear answer. Like, if as a fresher, first know what company you're targeting for, and
Right.
go to the job description in sites like LinkedIn and see what tech stacks they're using. Are they using Azure, AWS, GCP, Alibaba, or any other thing? And then pick it from there. Like, okay, in case if you have no other doubt, as Mahesh says, uh, go with the highest probability of getting job, right? Since AWS is holding more market of cloud, obviously if you learn AWS, then you can learn into that part. So it depends upon them, either the destination of getting job or in a precise company, and then they can take it from there. uh, so thanks Mahesh. So I think we came to the end of the session today, and so thanks for your valuable time. So before ending, Mahesh, would you like to share any end note for the viewers?
Yeah, as I explained you previously in this section, so do the systematic approach. The steps which I told you, starting from listening to the YouTube videos, webinars, meetups, LinkedIn newsletters, and going to the videos and the specific selection of particular cloud. So do this systematically, and do this in a consistent way, learning by doing and visually observing the things. You'll be more successful, and you'll be very competitive in the market.
Cool.
Thanks, Vasan, for giving me this excellent opportunity to talk to your audience, and then to make aware of the uh, cloud, how to choose the cloud technologies to start their career.
Thanks, Mahesh, for your valuable time on the weekend. Spending time on Sunday, it's not that easy. Sparing time is like, thanks a lot for it.
Thanks,
So,
Vasan.
who are watching this video, if you have any further doubts, uh, please feel free to ask in the comment section. So, if there is like a huge comment piled up, I will request Mahesh for an sequential session with you guys. Also, if it's like one or two, then we'll get it answered under the comment section itself. So feel free to do that. If you find the video useful and if you would like to more interview sessions like this, don't forget to like it and share it with your friends and peers. So see you at another in the another video. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mahesh.